Hi guys, it's Paul from models.co.uk. Welcome to part 2 of our Tamiya 132 F4U-1 Corsair build. Last part we assembled most of the cockpit. Today we're going to assemble the rest of it. We're then going to primer it, aluminium coat it with some dull aluminium. Then we're going to apply some chipping fluid, apply the base coat of interior green, and then we're going to attempt a chipping effect. So we'll see how we get on today. I've only ever used a chipping fluid once before, so it's going to be interesting to see how it gets on. So without further ado, we'll get going and carry on. Right guys, slightly different format now. I'm actually using 2 cameras now, which is going to give us a lot better close-up shots. Clearer images. You're not going to get my hands in the way as much anymore. So we've still got the standard wide view camera over there. This camera here, which is overhead on my work lamp, looking right down, so we can get some really nice close-up shots. And like I say, with having this top view down look, we shouldn't get my hands covering parts as they do from the side. So where we were at last time, and this is a good first use of the close-up, this is where we were at last time. Assembled probably 85% of the front part of the cockpit, all the various switches, levers in and what have you. Still got the front instrument panel to put on. What we're going to concentrate on today is the rear part, including the seat. So if I zoom in, we can have a little look, and we can have a little look at some more of this detail. So as we can see, that's a hell of a lot better view than we used to have over there. If I zoom on this one as well, like we used to. So we've got a fairly close-up shot there, very close-up shot up here. So this is what we'll be doing from now on. So you're going to get a real good view now. You can really see all that detail in that cockpit now. Absolutely superb kit. Like I say, you couldn't really see it last time, but you can now, so there's no excuse for me not showing you everything. So we'll zoom out a little bit just for now. Perfect. We'll put that to one side because we're done with that. Let me zoom out a little bit on this one as well. Right, so what I've done, I'll show you the instruction book first. Off camera, I've done step 7, which just involved cutting out the bulletproof shield plate and adding these 2 photo etch parts, which gives us this. So nothing, you know, riveting to watch, pardon the pun. So I've just literally glued that in position. The next step calls for the seat belts, step 8. I don't want to add these yet because I'm going to get all the cockpit sprayed, weathered and what have you before we add those. Same for step 9, which is the side part of the seat belt. We're skipping straight to part 10, 11, and then we'll start putting some paint down on this, which, you know, leads us on to more parts. So literally once we're all painted, I'm happy with the weathering. I'll hand paint the seatbelts separately and then stick them on. That's my plan anyway. So we're going to take part in steps 10 today, pardon me. I put all the parts off, the sprues off camera, tidied them up. There's 4 plastic parts, 1 photo etch part, which is there. So what I'll do, when we come to the seat belts, that's when I'll cover photo etch. We'll give it all my techniques for doing it and what have you, and we'll get a real good overview of how I use photo etch. So 4 parts, just say we've got 4 plastic, so we need a little Tamiya cement. Have a little look what we've got. Yeah, they've all been tidied up like I was saying. So just 4 parts to attach, 2 sides, and our photo etch in the middle. So there we go, side parts are on. There's little locating tabs each side. So all I'm going to do is pop a little bit of extra thin just in there like so. Quite hard to do watching the monitor, so I'll have to keep an eye on myself. There we go. So again, make sure you don't get any glue on your fingers. Make sure everything's pushed in place. So there's one side. Exactly the same for the other. Make sure you got the right part orientated in the right way. There's little control levers each side of the seat. And like I say, there are little locating tabs which you can just see there and at the back. I've got a nice fingerprint on the seat there, which is great. As you can see on camera, no hiding anything now. There we go. So same as before, I was going to dot some extra thin in. I've not been stingy with it, quite generous. Pop that in. And there we go. So there's the seat done. So like I said, I've got a fingerprint in there. I'll sand that off later with a very fine sanding stick, polish it up. You won't even notice it there. So there's that. Next part is a little bit of photo etch, which is nicely sticking to my worktop. So check on the instructions, that's the way it's being orientated. So I need some tweezers. Perfect. Grab it in the opposite end, so I've actually put them through, they've opened up and caught them. I'm just going to test fit it first. And we'll see what actually goes in. It sits on an angle. Exactly like that. So there we go. So what we need to do now, we're going to dab a little bit of CA glue on each edge, so a little Mr. Hobby pot, some thick type CA glue, cocktail stick. Sadly my Mr. Hobby putting glue applicator has died. I think I said this in one of my other videos, it's literally fell to bits with overuse. So there you go, all four corners. Just going to dab a little bit of glue. Then what we need to do is preferably not drop it in like that. So we can get hold of it. It's quite a tricky little part. There we go. Bless you, somebody sneezing outside. At least they're not cats today. Well, not yet anyway. By the way, those cats last time, they weren't mine. They're neighbours' cats. Just that you think I haven't got a, you know, an animal cruelty ring on the go or anything. So happy that's in position. I'll zoom in, so I'll use the close-up to have a look, see how close we can actually get. So there we go, you can see my nice fingerprint there, a little bit too much glue. A little bit at the back as well, but like I say, we can remove all that. We can see they get nice and close in now. Photo etch is glued in position. I'm just going to spray a little bit of kicker in, like so. Give it a good dry. And there we go, there's the photo etching. Show about the fingerprints, but hey, can't have to be perfect, can it? Last piece of the seat, well there's one piece for the back as well, is this little part here, which sits in there like so. And again, a little bit of Tamiya extra thin, and good, let's get it in the right place. So that really helps. A little bit of extra thin top and bottom. There we go. Again, just check your fingers, make sure you've got no glue on them. Shoot your part in the right place, which it is. You get it back on camera, there we go. So no problems there. Okay, one last little part to attach, which is rear part of the seat. Looks like, yeah, part of a bracing frame for it. So I've just cut it off. Give it a quick tidy up. Make sure there's no remnants of where you've cut it off the sprue, which there's not. Look at the instructions. go that way around somehow. Sits in there just like so. So let's add a little bit of glue. There's 2 spots. Make sure I've got the right way orientated, which is just like that. And yeah. There we go. So again, get in position. First, like a little bit of glue held here. Add a little bit more. And just press it home. Always keep referring to your instructions. Make sure you look at your orientator correctly. Which we are. And there's the seat done. So we've got 2 parts now ready. Got the seat and the front part of the fuselage. All it calls for next is the very rare single section, which is section D, which is that one. Yep, put that to one side. Section D. And then all we got then is that bulletproof plate is attached to this. So what I'll do, I'll glue those 2 parts together. I'm going to keep them all separate. I'm going to keep this rear plate, the seat and the front section all separate for now. Spray them all up, weather them, and then I'll glue them all together. It's going to be too tricky to try and spray it all while it's all together, because literally I think it slots in there like so. So to get paint in there and there, especially with the seat in the way, because the seat's going to live in there. So I'm going to spray them all as individual parts, weather them all individually and what have you. So I'll glue these parts in position and then we'll go to the spray booth, we'll get them primered up, get some aluminium down, the chipping agent down, and then the actual proper colour on top, and then we'll see where we get going with the weathering process. Right, okay, we're over in the spray booth. I've got all the various parts there ready to go. I've attached them to cocktail sticks, ready to spray to make them easier to handle. We're going to start off the process by using Alcalad's gloss black base, which is the perfect base for any of Alcalad's natural metal finish paints. Once that's dry, we'll go over it with dull aluminium. I don't want anything too shiny, so hopefully that'll give us a good effect. They're all cellulose based paints, are absolutely fantastic, second to none for a metallic finish. Once that's dry, which it does dry very quickly and cellulose based, it's 2 to 3 coats of AK Interactive's heavy chipping fluid, and then once that's dry again, we're going to go over with Mr. Hobby Interior Green. Like I said, there's a lot of different call outs, various forums, people who built it for all the different interior greens. I'm going to go with Mr. Hobby's Interior Green, and that basically matches the colour we've got in the instruction book pamphlet. So I've loaded up my iWater Revolution, as you can see, with some gloss black base. It's been well shook because it does need shaking very, very well. Just put these paints out of the way. I'm going to paint the rear part of the cockpit and the seat, and I'll do everything else off camera. We'll come back once dry. So hopefully this isn't going to be too loud on a new camera, because it's right in front of it. Make sure you got your flow. Always give it a quick blast, get any muck off it. I have sanded back that seat now where we had that problem before, and then start to lightly go over it. Air pressure, in fact I just need to turn it down, is at 15 psi, so nice and low for the Alcalads. Again, the Alcalad primer is ideal for covering photo etch. I find it sticks very well. But the one thing you need to be concerned, it's a very, very thin paint. It does run very easily. So it's nice and coated, but dries absolutely really fast. It's absolutely amazing how quick it'll dry. So you can come back a few seconds later and go over it again. As always, just double check you've got everywhere covered. I'm going to start applying a bit heavier now. It does leave a very, very nice finish. Sadly, there's any imperfections. They are going to show through for you. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. They are going to show through. I mean, I have standardised seating. I can catch the light. I'm not sure the camera's going to pick it up. You can still slightly see it, but it's not that bad really, to be honest. Like I said, we're going to be weathering this seat anyway. It's not the end of the world. So there we go. That seat's now done. So that'll be allowed to dry. And then we'll come back and we'll apply the dull aluminium. I'll quickly do this part because it's a flat part. Should really have gloves on doing this, I always bloody forget. See, it's a visual part. I tend to do the tops and the sides. In case it's, you know, a part that's prominent and can be seen from a different angle or what have you, and also make sure you get inside everywhere as well. There we go, so I'll carry on this other part, the main cockpit part, and we'll come back once it's done. Right, okay, given this probably, what, half an hour to dry. It was virtually touch dry once I'd finished painting it. This was the part I did off camera. So gloss black base is now nicely dried. As you can see, I can get it to catch the light for you. There you go. Nice shiny base, which is perfect for adding a metallic finish such as Alcalad's dull aluminium next. So I'm going to give it a good shake. There's a little ball bearing in each of these bottles. I think this is the first time I've used this stuff on camera. I absolutely love it. I've been using it for a couple of years now. I know a lot of people, few people I know are a bit worried about using it. No problem whatsoever. As long as you keep your air pressure low, it recommends 15 psi. I like to go down to about 12. So I'll just clean out that airbrush properly. Give the colour cup a little wipe. There we go. And we'll pop a little bit in the colour cup. Again, it's very, very thin paint. As you can see, it's just dribbled all down the front of my airbrush. So again, it is something you need to keep in mind. It's easy to spill, easy to go everywhere. There we go. So I'll put that back in its holder for a minute. Put the bottle back on, lid back on. So we were at 15 psi before. I'm going to go down to about 12, which is what we're at now. Just check our flow quickly. There we go. Pop on the booth. I'm also going to pop on the colour cup lid. We don't want this going everywhere. And then we'll quickly give this a going over. And again, I'll do the other parts of camera. So just a light dusting all over the model first. Again, as always, not trying to get it covered in one go. I've got about half pressure on the airbrush trigger, so I'm not trying to get tons of the stuff out. Once it's dusted, you can start going in with slightly thicker coats. Obviously what is going to be underneath this will be the chipping that's shown through our paintwork. So he's getting all the foot control only where there's going to be wear and tear. As you can see, it's quite a nice dull aluminium. I'll reassess it once it's all dry to make sure it is going to give me the effect I want. I didn't want it too shiny, but I think that may be a little bit dull, to be honest. I'll do this part, let it dry, I'll reassess it, and then if not, I'll change to normal aluminium. Right, okay, so what I've done, this is dull aluminium, this is normal aluminium. I can spin it around so we get a lot shinier, a little bit too dull. It does what it says on the bottle, it is dull aluminium. It's a little bit too dull for what I wanted, so this is what we'll be going for. So I'm going to respray this and the seat, and I'll be back in a minute. Right, okay, so these are all sprayed up. They've been allowed to dry now for probably another half hour again. Cellulose base does dry very, very fast. As you can see, we've got a nice shiny finish. Everything's been resprayed. Cockpit. The seat. I'll have to choose the children playing outside. The kids go back soon, thank God. So we're ready now for the chipping fluid. I'm going to be using AK Interactive's heavy chipping. It requires 3 coats. As soon as that last coat's dry, we need to come back with the FS interior green. For this, anything that's particularly not nasty but unusual, isn't really a paint, I use my little Iwata Neo. It's a little £50 airbrush, absolutely brilliant. If you're looking for a new airbrush, a starter airbrush, you won't go wrong with one of these. It's what I recommend all the time. PSI's back up at 20 PSI. This is a water-based product. I've only used it once. I used it on a Krupp. I used it to create the wood effect on the side plates on the rear part of the, what's it called, the actual deck, I suppose it is, isn't it, the pickup part. So pop a little bit in here. Again, I'm not sure how much we're going to need. It's just like a thick water. So I don't know how thick it's going to go down, how much we're going to need. So it's a little bit trial by error really. So you guys are going to get to watch this. So again, spray this going on. So I'm going to move these parts just to there for now. This rear part can be our guinea pig. So check the flow. Obviously it's a clear liquid, so do this so I can see it. Comes out very thick, almost spitting, not nice at all. So whether it's going to self-level itself, it can be quite blotchy. A little bit of a rub there which I'll push down a little bit. That's better. Put that to one side and dry. What I might try doing, just raise the pressure a little bit to where I normally spray, which is 25. Let's see what that does. We'll do the seat next. That's better. Still sprays quite thick and it does spit a little bit better higher pressure. Again, we've hardly used any if you look at that colour cup. So we just really need to ensure we get it everywhere we want it. These were the switches and what have you, they're actually black, so reference pictures I've seen, they don't really get any chipping or wear. But the lights down here on those foot controls, the front of the bulkhead, especially that rear part of the seat, it does. I'll lightly go over it all. Unsure how long it's going to take to dry, but it says 2 to 3 coats. We'll give it 2, we don't want it that heavily chipped. And it says as soon as the second coat's dry, apply the base colour, so that's exactly what we're doing. Fingers crossed. That's okay. I've let the chipping fluid dry. There's no remnants of it, so even though it sprays on pretty gloopy and blodgy, it does dry quite flat and smooth. So what we're going to do now, I've got Mr. Hobby, it's H58 interior green, there's the colour underneath. So I'm going to now apply the base coat, and once that's dry we're going to all do the colours into the cockpit, and then we'll try some chipping effects. So fingers crossed everything will go okay. So we're going to apply, it'd be a 60-40 mix of Mr. Hobby to thinner. So we've got Mr. Hobby thinner, roughly about a 50-50 mix. Give it a quick stir. Put my air pressure back up as well. I think we're at about 20 psi from before. Oh no, we're at 25. So airbrush booth on. Check our flow. Have a slight blockage, but we'll be okay. And then over the chipping fluid. So again, because it's a very shiny surface, we need to apply nice thin coats to begin with. And build it up as we go around. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cover every surface area underneath, all around. Everything's being sprayed in this. So I quite like to get a nice photo of the assembled cockpit before it goes in the aircraft. Quite tricky to get in all these little gaps, so that's why I left that rear part off to allow easier access. Once you've got a nice even coating down, start going a little bit heavier. Make sure everything gets a good coat, even coverage, and I'm also going to spray the back very quickly. Sides of the same as well. Absolutely fantastic colour. So it may look like I'm putting a lot of paint on, I'm not. Literally spraying every cent of the paper. It's just very, very light to ensure we get everywhere we want it. So there we go. I'm going to carry on, put some more, the colour cup's nearly empty, get some more paint, I'll spray everything else and we'll come back once we're all sprayed. Right, okay, everything's dried, all the base colour's gone on, as we can see, so we're all ready to go there. That's fine, absolutely perfect. Off camera, I had a little go at the chipping. Quite hard work, not as easy as I remember it last time. I zoom in for us. It's quite well chipped. Certainly gives the effect of being worn. I would prefer some slightly smaller chips as such. I can add some as I go, I suppose, but it's because I used a heavy chipping and not just a chipping fluid, but gives the appearance I'm after, which is well worn. Obviously the reference picture in the Tamiya reference book I'll show. I can find the correct picture there. Bottom left shows the seat with a cushion on. Obviously the real bird wouldn't have had that. It would have, the pilot would have sat on his parachute, so it would have got worn away quite badly. Other areas of wear, foot pedals, foot controls, so they'll all be worn. Obviously other areas of high traffic, so I'm not going to overly chip it, just any areas that would have been hardly worn. You can see the control stick, things like that. So what we'll do now is we'll do it on camera the way I just did it before. So what I've done is just literally soak this in water, because it seemed to take quite a while to take effect, and it does take quite a heavy hand to get the paint to start to shift. I also, behind where the seat goes, I tried chipping it with a cocktail stick and I was just taking the paint straight off. So maybe next time I'll use just a finer chipping fluid rather than heavier, and hopefully that'll work a bit better. So what we're going to do now, this top part in the reference book is black, so I'm not going to chip any of that at all, because it shows no wear whatsoever. If I chip it now, it doesn't make any difference because I'm overpainting it later. I'll brush paint that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to brush quite hard. Hopefully we'll start to see some of the paint come off. So really where I want it is around the edges, but I also want some areas of wear inside too, so I'm just going to go all around. So I am pressing quite hard. I've got a nice stiff flat brush. Put it flat on the desk so we can give a bit more pressure. So we're getting quite a nice effect along there now, which is great. That's just what I'm after. I can just replicate it on this side. I'll be happy. We also found before on the seat that once it had softened up, I could also use a cocktail stick to lightly scratch it. There we go, there's a nice piece come off there. So I could start to add some lighter scratches. To be fair, it's actually doing it itself this time. So as we can see, the effect's getting there slowly. Behind the seat doesn't really matter because the seat will be hiding that. I just want the effect up to about here, ideally. It's really hard work. Let's try a different brush again. So the brushes I was using was, I've got a dry brush. Problem being I was getting dry paint coming off it. So the stiffer brush does help. Yeah, the stiffer brush helps immensely. So there we go. Obviously it may seem heavy, but when we add the seat, which again is a nice little touch, actually does hold itself in. It ties itself in well with the cockpit once it's done. And I'm going to add a wash to this as well. Once I've got all the chipping how I want it, I'll gloss coat it, add a wash, and when we're all finished we'll matte coat it as well. So there we go, that's where we're at now. I've still got this to do, but there's various other colours to go on this. So, and it does need, if you look down the bottom, it does need a little bit more interior green. Just there, you can see where the alkyde's still prominent on the edges. Whether I need to respray that, I don't know, because the wash will fill those crevices. I'll have a think, see what I'm going to do, and I'll see what's best. So we'll come back for part 3, and we'll crack on with, I'll probably paint some of the major details off camera, and then when we come back we'll crack on, get some of the other details painted, get the actual cockpit all together, and we'll crack on with some other parts of the fuselage as well. So, paulfromemodels.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Check out the other videos on eModels YouTube channel. They're also on Facebook, so you can comment, like them on there. Check out eModels website. Everything you need's on there, and all the other builds are on International Scale Modeler as well as these videos. And I'm also doing a full photo build on there as well, so there's a complete log of every step as I've gone through on there, as well as links to the videos. So, paulfromemodels.co.uk. I'll see you next time for part 3. Take care, and thanks for watching.